Hello, everyone. Uh, this is a very, very happy day for me because I am sitting here with this wonderful person. This is the Keto Viking that I've had the honor to get to know a little bit the last couple of months or so. And I've been following you and seeing your posts and just getting very inspired about what you are doing and inspired by what you are teaching others about, because you, just like me, you are very interested in health, because health is like my biggest passion right now. And it's the same for you. Even though we are in different fields, we can learn from each other, and I think that's very cool. So yeah, it's an honor to sit here with you and having this wonderful interview, because I want to be able to show more people what you do and what you have to offer. So I would love for you to just present yourself a little bit. And before I ask you some questions, I just want to know a little bit more about you. Who are you? And what's your biggest passion in life?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks of all. My name is Carl Fredric, aka the Keto Viking. It's a pleasure to be on this call with you. You're beautiful. We've been connecting for a couple of months now, I reckon. Got to know each other, started talking. We realized we're both very interested in health. In a little bit different way, we're all searching the same kind of we have the same kind of quest. We're on the same kind of goal to save the world and help people, but we do it in different fields. Because I believe I have a lot to offer in my field, and I am on a quest to heal people through the field of nutrition. That's where my passion lies. I come from a past as a chef, so I've always been very interested in food. Then I got into personal training. Then I started doing nutrition and personal training, and I found out that the whole kind of like nutrition course we received as when we were personal training, a lot of it wasn't incorrect. Lot of it was incorrect. It wasn't correct. Like they were talking in your perspective, like you have to have breakfast. They pushed a lot of with the carbohydrates. And I noticed in my surrounding, that's a lot of people in my surrounding, especially in Australia, a lot is very overweight and a lot are sick. A lot of people are experiencing some kind of chronic disease or disorder. And they just say you don't move enough. And I think that, sorry, my language, it's fucking bullshit. It's so much more to that. And then they're teaching us that 80% is a diet, but those 80% are not connected in this aspect. Like, how does that make sense? So a lot of the things were it didn't make sense in my eyes. So I started doing my own kind of research, and I found out fat for fuel. So I got into the field of keto and ketosis, and I understand the power of that. So I started to, preach about that and lecture people on that. And I saw the beauty of how we could heal each other through nutrition by going back into ketosis and starting using ketones as a fuel source. So yeah, that's who I am. And that's my biggest passion. And that's how I got into the field of nutrition.
Yeah, that's really cool, because I think we need to think holistically. Because I work with water. Water is what I'm diving into right now, and just learning about and how that affects our quality of life in all different aspects. And you're doing the same with nutrition. And I feel that there's not one solution or one magic pill or magic thing that will solve everything. We need to think and learn in different aspects to have a complete health. And I'm so inspired by you, because you are so passionate and so driven. So I kind of mirroring myself in you, and I feel yes, we, as you said, we're on the same mission, but just taking different roads. I
exactly.
love to connect with people that are really stepping up their game and doing whatever it takes to teach people about what is actually important, and also help people sort out what's not true, because there's so many things out there that regarding nutrition and water and stuff like that that's really not true, that we also need to kind of figure out what is true, what actually works. And we we learn that by actually trying and feeling and examining ourselves and how we feel when we do these things and when we try better choices and take better choices for ourselves. And I'm also like, I'm so happy for you because you've been able to kind of just follow your dream now because you follow your passion, what makes you happy and what makes you glow. And I really believe that when we do that, we open up the world to be able to actually do the things that we dream about as well, just like you do.
Exactly.
You actually just kind of moved to Spain, following your dream since many years ago, and I was like, yes, that's the way, you know. Like living that freedom lifestyle for me is also very important because that's also a part of holistic health. I think, like health in all aspects.
Yeah, indeed. It's psychological. Like there's a connection between it's body, mind, and spirit. Like you can talk this from religious perspective, but I believe that there's a correlation between those in real life. And I work in the field of body, but also that the nutrition can also affect the psychological aspect because it's affecting our reward system. Plus that a lot of our endorphins and our serotonin is actually in our stomach, in our intestine. So if we're feeding ourselves with dead food, we're gonna feel like shit. So there's the connection. And then I also believe there's a connection of source, like being connected with God. Like I truly believe that there's so much more to the whole picture. And like we talk holistic health. But I saw like how I got into this was that when I did the personal training, like I saw so many people in my surrounding that were sick. They were like sick, and so many people that you can see the life in them is gone. Like the life in their eyes is gone, the passion and everything. And they just say that they don't move enough. I was like, no, we're eating food that's dead and it's killing us. And we had a lecture, and we had like in second year, we had kind of like a project management, and we're supposed to do a lecture for people. And we choose the field of processed food. And that's where I started in my interest. More of not what the good food was, more of the negative food, like how it was fucking up a system. Yeah. And I spent like hundreds of hours like focusing on processed food, high corn fructose syrup, like additives and all these things and how it affected our system. Then I got into the carbohydrates and all of this, the refined carbohydrates. And I was preparing the presentation for so many hours, but when I came up on that stage, I hadn't practiced the script. So I was standing there, I was shitting myself. First time holding a lecture, and it was like 200 people. And I was stuttering. I could barely get out my message. But when I came down from that stage, I get goosebumps now, but just thinking of it. But I felt, because I faced that fear, and I faced that uncomfortableness. And when I walked down from that stage, I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Share truth about nutrition and educate people. Yes. And that's what I started. And I felt like it became like an obligation for me having this knowledge, not sharing it. Like God, like it was my obligation. This was my quest. Like that's when I received my quest. Like now I'm gonna start doing this. And then finding out more about ketosis and the beauty of ketosis, placing people in that state. Then having the opportunity to work with the keto technology that I manifested actually by just wanting to have something that can help more people get into this state. And I manifested this keto technology, and I've been working with it for 12 months, and I'm sitting in Spain, and I just had siesta. Now I'm like, it's the best feeling in the world, and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Oh, I totally vibe with you when you're telling me that you feel like it's an obligation to share this with people. When we have this knowledge and we can really see the consequences of people not knowing and not like having proper nutrition or water, and just seeing how you can see how like their livelihood is just going down, and we know that we have something that can kind of just lift them up from that state and help them to regenerate, because that's what it's all about. Like our bodies can heal itself. All of our bodies can heal itself. It just needs the right building blocks. And I, just like you, I've been so afraid of like stage fright, like being afraid of talking to people and just really taking up my space, you know, and talking my truth and just really believing in myself. And it was like something that was holding me back for a long time. But after a while, like it felt like my passion and my wanting to just share my knowledge with others became so much greater than the fear holding me back. So I just started and just faced that fear. And it's been a beautiful, beautiful like journey. And it's unfolding like right now, all the time. It's really cool. So let's talk a little bit more about ketosis. Like, what is ketosis? How do you get into ketosis?
So to explain it in the best way, like I explained before, like body, mind, and spirit, that it has a correlation. When it comes to our stress factors, we have different stress factors in our system. We have physical stress, we have emotional stress, and we have chemical stress. And physical stress is having like a bad posture. People are sitting down all the time. People that are like have experienced some kind of like they have hurt themselves or fallen down or whatever it is. It's a physical stress. And then you have emotional stress, which can be a partner, that can be work, it can be a boss, it can be kids, it can be whatever, money, bills,
Not being
anything
able to pay your bills.
Yeah, exactly. That emotional stress that's eating you up. So it can be suppressed emotions, suppressed feelings, being with someone you shouldn't be, whatever it is. And then you have the chemical stress. And the chemical stress is either eating big pharmaceutical drugs, viruses, bacteria, but also when you're when you're outside of, when you're not in hormone balance, if you put it like that. When you're out homeostasis, and homeostasis is hormone balance. That's what it is. So to explain it in the best way, ketosis is balance. It's when we're using a fuel source which is not creating chemical stress, but is reducing it. Because think of our body as an engine. It's like we have a diesel engine and you have a gasoline engine. If I put in gasoline in the diesel engine, the whole engine will break. And this is what happens to people. And that's why we are experiencing these chronic diseases and these disorders, because as well with the water, but our mitochondria, which are energy factories, are destroyed. They are not working properly. Our thyroid is not working properly because it's not getting the right fuel, which is the ketones. So ketosis is a fuel source, is a state when we are utilizing a fuel source called ketones. And these ketones we can get from stored fat. When we take triglyceride, we break it down to fatty acid, and fatty acid becomes ketones. Then we're in a state of ketosis, but it's also the same as a fat burning state. And there's thousands of diets out there promoting weight loss. But the only thing you need to do is get in the state of ketosis. And how do I do that? You can't have more than 20 grams of carbohydrates in your system. Only then you can start producing your own ketones. So what can you do to achieve that amount of carbohydrates or glucose? You can either exclude from your diet, which is the ketogenic diet, or you can fast, or you can burn it up for fasting or for exercising. But to get back in a state of ketosis, which is balance, after many, many, many years being unbalanced, being in a carbohydrates burning state, and every time we're in carbohydrates burning state, we're releasing hormones that are creating hormone imbalance, and we also are going into a state of chemical stress, which is inflammation. So our body is running badly on a fuel source, which is badly creating inflammation, creating dysfunctional mitochondria and all these kind of things. But when we start going back into ketosis, we start becoming hormone balance. Then our body, like you said, can start repairing, because our body can do so much amazing things. But if my body is busy dealing with inflammation of a processed Westernized diet, how the fuck should my diet be able to deal with this? It can't because it's busy here. And this is another thing, like now in Corona times, people are running to the store with hand sanitizers, gloves, and masks to go in. First, they stress emotionally. And what happens when you stress? Your immune system goes down. And then you go in and buy food or harvest food and like, how do you call it that? Like bära upp liksom. You're like stocking up on processed shit, which gives you more inflammation. And what do you think happens when your immune system is fighting this inflammation? And then virus is coming from this side, but all your troops are here. You can't defend.
Yeah.
And then you fuck.
There's no life in these processed foods. Like there's no charge anymore. It's like we are electrical beings. Actually, all of the cells in our bodies, they are communicating with each other like through electrical charges. Same goes with our brains, with like all the systems in our bodies. We are electrical beings, and if we eat dead food, we don't get like the energy that we need, food or water. What's happening? We are slowly going to
die.
like really, and that this is just a signal that we are getting more bad stuff into our system than good stuff. So we are not able to heal faster than we are actually destroying ourselves. So it's so important to be mindful about what we eat and what we drink. So
exactly.
Yes. So how do we get ketones? Like, because this is a very good state to be in if we want to heal from different diseases and illnesses.
Exactly. Like when we start utilizing ketones instead of glucose, when we use it in our mitochondria, the ketones, they are a clean fuel source. So our mitochondria or energy factories, which is in the cell, loves it. They can use it very efficient. It doesn't create any byproduct. It doesn't create any inflammation. It's reducing the oxidative inflammation or oxidative stress, if you put it like that.
Yeah.
And you also getting benefits like more energy focus, like the benefits are endless. But the coolest thing of all is that your body goes in a process called autophagy. And autophagy is cell reparation. It was 2016, a man called Yugoshinari Oshumi. My Japanese is not the best, but he was receiving the Nobel Prize in medicine 2016, and no one knows about this. And what is autophagy? It's indeed, Kanya. And he found out that autophagy was actually taking dead cells or broken or destroyed cells and giving them new life. That's like when you see, like when you go on a long day fast and someone comes back from like a 5-day fast, they look so fresh, so alert, so energized. What is that? Because they've been using ketones because they burned through the carbohydrates the first day. Then they started using ketones for the rest of the week, and autophagy was just booming, and all these dead cells got new life. You're repairing those. Like with autophagy, you can repair scars, cellulites, bristningar. Like you can recover so much, like organs and things like this is autophagy is what's healing our body. It's what's healing our body, but it can only do it when you are in a state of ketosis. Only do it in a state of ketosis, and then we go back again. How do we then get in ketosis? In a nutritional ketosis, we have to get through the carbohydrates. But the carbohydrates we've been fed the last 100 years, or since 1960, when we started excluding it, when the excessive amount of the carbohydrates entered our market, that was like all the refined carbohydrates, like pasta, pizza, crackers, cookies, this like pure wheat. These carbohydrates have actually a higher sugar concentrated amount of blood sugar, more than white sugar. So two slices white bread are actually releasing more blood sugar than 6 spoons of white sugar. This is crazy. People say I don't eat sugar, but they eat all this wheat and all this white bread, and it's crazy. And what happens is when people are eating this carbohydrate is that their blood sugar is spiking very gradually, but also decreasing quick, and then you get low blood sugar. Plus, there's also a substance in gluten called gliadin, and gliadin has the same rewarding system in your brain as cocaine. It's affecting the brain the same way as cocaine. I'm not shitting you. There's research behind this. So they are stimulating the brain. So when you haven't had carbohydrates in like 2 hours, what happens? You get abstinence. And what happens? You want to refill more. So when people are eating this, they start to break eating cornflakes and white bread. The blood sugar, boom, 2 hours later, low blood sugar and abstinence. What happens then? People get irritated, and it's like a junkie hasn't got his hit for a while.
An addiction. Yes.
It becomes an addiction, and we have like a whole society of fucking carbohydrates junkies running around there, and it's not something we talk about. It's not something we talk about.
And also, and also they defend themselves if we try to help them get through this, and we kind of like shed light on this. They can get very triggered and like, oh, but I must be able to treat myself. But then I want to ask you people out there, how come we treat ourselves and give ourselves like, when we've done something good, we treat ourselves and celebrate with things that are hurting ourselves? Like, if we are supposed to treat ourselves, isn't that supposed to be something that's actually giving us more energy, more life, more joy, more peace? Really,
Yes, yes.
like, we've got it all twisted. We've got it all twisted. Like, we need to be kind of rewire our way of thinking about what a treat is. I mean, what is a treat? Is this a treat? For me, it's a treat. Like,
To many people, it's a treat.
yes, like, it's vital. And just giving yourself that fresh fruits, or like the things that really give your body the nutrition that you need, or yes, it's beautiful. But I wanted to ask you, because I've, as I understood, there are different kind of ketones. Can you please explain different
I'll,
kinds?
I will explain. What I want to say with the carbohydrates was that it's
Oh
very
yeah,
hard to
please.
get off. It was very hard. It's very hard to get off the carbohydrates if you've been using these carbohydrates for many years, because it's addictive. It's like going off heroin. It's going off cocaine. It's going off and cigarettes or whatever it is, and it can take weeks to get off this. Your body's gonna go in detox. Like, it's gonna remove all this shit. Plus, we talk bacteria, and then we talk parasites as well that you've been feeding for many years. These parasites are not gonna like it, and they're gonna fuck with your system, and they're gonna make you feel pain inside. So this is the thing: to get in a state of ketosis in a natural way, get through this carbohydrates, get fuel this fuel source that we've only been utilizing for 20-25 years. It's gonna be very painful. So what we work with this keto technology is the same bioidentical ketone molecule that you can produce after days of fasting or weeks and months of a diet. The same molecule we have created on an external source, which means that you drink this and you get in a state of ketosis. You will still get in a state of ketosis. That's what's so groundbreaking. And this is what's so revolutionary to the keto market, but also the market, also the world, because it's essential for us, of course, in holistic health. But what's very important for us in today's society is, like you say, real water, like you said, water that can connect to our cells, that have the electrical frequency to connect with ourselves, as well as you said with the food. But also, like, the ketones are that fuel source that actually our body, our cells and our body can connect with the most efficient. So this is the fuel source that we should use in the best way. Hör du mig? Can you hear me? Wait.
Oh yes, I hear you. I was just muting myself because there was some sound out here. But yes, that's really important. And I also want to add a little bit, because like, with the water, we are actually adding to the cells and to the mitochondria, which are kind of like the powerhouses of the cells. We are adding, like, the mitochondria, it consists of two layers, and the outer layer consists of hydrogen ions, and this makes it possible for the inner layer to be able to process nutrition and turn it into pure energy that we then use for our lives. And if we don't have enough of hydrogen ions, it's hard for the body to take in nutrition and actually use that. So to use this in combination sounds like the perfect combo, actually. And also, if we want to fast, if we want to water fast as well, to actually excel the keto process, we can do that with really clean and charged water as well, that's just filled with life, sparkling, like nice.
Like I said,
I feel like the connection between these two is like a perfect marriage or something.
I reckon indeed, like the combination. how the water can increase the uptake of the ketones. And there's a lot of things to biohack with that, but like those two together, I believe that's next level. And I'm very excited to actually try this combination. And you got some ketones on your way to your house. So I don't know when they're arriving, but they will come soon.
Excited to try it. I'm super excited.
Yes, indeed. So now you will get the state of ketosis without doing the diet, and your body will love it so much, as well as you drink your pure water. But I just want to cover on one thing there.
Oh yes, please.
That I think it's like we talked about addiction as well. Like it's very hard for people to get away from this. But another thing that I think it's important to share as well, I think it's people's self-image in that aspect, that people's like, why do people become junkies or alcoholics? Like often it's a trauma or something that affects them. There's something happened on the way where they have lowered their self-worth. Like their self-worth is shit. They've been beaten, or they've been left as a kid, whatever it is. There are parents who got divorced, whatever the trauma is, something about their self-worth and self-image has lowered their self-esteem. It can be school, bullying, whatever it is. So for me, who's been an old, like I was an addict, I was addict to drugs, I was sitting in rehab and things like that. But why was I doing it? Because my self-image was shit. I didn't, even though I knew I deserved, like, even though I knew my potential, I knew what I could achieve, my mind was like, no, you don't deserve this shit. No. And it was fucking up for me so many times. And it was putting me in the same kind of behavior. And this is what I think a lot of people are like. That's why we can't be like judgmental, not that you and me are, but that's why people can't be, because if people can't take care of their health, like, because they are so deep in that swamp with the carbohydrates and the addiction is so great, so it's hard to get out, even though they know it's bad for them. But what's holding them back then? Not only it's the addiction, it's also their self-image, believing they don't deserve to be thin, or they don't deserve to feel happy, they don't deserve to feel healthy, they don't deserve to go to the gym. This is so what is important as well, what I try to educate my customers or potential clients, whatever it is, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It is the system that has put you down on your fucking feet. And it's also the food that's been created to slow you and make you sick. Like it's made to be addictive. And so like when people are also overweight and they believe this weight is bad, but it's just a fuel source. And we need to get in and start using this fuel source. That's the only thing. So we also need to.
Yes,
exactly. But I just want to give out to people, like so many people, they feel bad about themselves because they don't succeed, but it's not your fault. It's because you have been programmed not to believe in yourself. And at the same time, you're going against the fucking food industry, $1 billion food industry, which is created to make you addictive.
And also the medical industry, like the pharmaceutical industry, like they're working together, they're earning big bucks out of not believing in themselves and thinking that I'm always going to be sick or have this chronic disease. I don't believe in chronic diseases because I think it's all about chronic behavior. Like if you have a behavior that is continuously creating disorder in your body, you will have a disease. And if you don't change your actions and what you are giving yourself, this disorder will turn into a disease, and you will not be able to get out of it unless you actually change the way you treat yourself. Treat yourself with good things.
Exactly.
Here we are again. Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah. We really need to focus about what true value is, because people think that money is value, but money has no value unless we actually use it on good stuff or good people or people that we love or things that we really want to do with our lives. If it is like personal development, or we want to learn something, or we want to go somewhere, or we want to eat some specific food, or we don't want to like look at the price tag too much. That is also value, to just feel that I am free to just live my life the way I'm supposed to live. Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. And we are worth it. We're worth it. We're just like, as you said, just programmed not to believe in ourselves and to just stay down. Don't be too much. Don't take your head up too high. But it's not about that. It's just about like opening your heart and believing in yourself and what feels right. And just following the path of joy and health. Yeah, I love it.
I love it. We're changing completely subject now, but like we talked about, like you said, it is holistic. It is holistic, and you like the mind and like attitude and self-worth and gratitude and all these things have a play into it as well. That's why I love this holistic health, because even though I know keto and I know going back to do keto can repair a lot of people's physical bodies and help them with the brain fog and starting functional, like using a fuel source that treats their body. But as well, we talked about before with physical, emotionally, and emotionally, physical, and chemical. So like how I work with my clients is start with a chemical stress. I start decreasing the chemical stress with the right food and with exogenous ketones to start getting a ketosis. And then I start giving them training programs gradually. And then there's also the water we come in there as well. Like that's holistic, what you supplements and everything. And then you come to the emotional stress, which is emotionally, and that's spirituality. And now we start to talk about breathing exercises, starting doing meditation, self-value mantras, all these things, beating your mind, like not beating, you put a really good post the other day, like being in collaboration with your mind, you can dominate. But for me, like I have this 5-second rule. When my mind is still trying to fuck with me, it's always trying to get away. It doesn't want to do anything uncomfortable. He never wanted to. So like I have my 5 seconds in the morning, like I wake up and like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I get up and I do like, if I gonna do the dishes or something like that, something in my mind is like, no, you can do it later. I was like, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I go and do it. So that's like the more you're not winning over your mind, but the more you're keeping your mind in check, because these thoughts and these excuses are always gonna come. But if you can make this take over this and control that, you are.
Yeah,
that's another one.
I have a quote on that. Like the mind is a really bad master, but a really good servant. So,
exactly. That was the one. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, I like that. So if you can make your mind your servant, then you can be the one that's actually, you are the one that decides what to do, and you're not only listening to your inner chatter and like letting your inner chatter or addictions take over. You actually take control of that. That's beautiful.
That's like we can sit and talk here for hours, but this is not a subject. But this is also something I find very interesting and discussing with you when we talk about the power of the mind and reprogramming the mind and things like that, like rewire the mind. I think that's something that has opened my eyes even more lately, like watching Joe Dispenza and watching like The Secret. What's his name? Who does The Secret? Like like Napoleon Hill and all this kind of like Tony Robinson, and they all talk about the same thing: changing the patterns in your brains by removing this subconscious programmed behavior and changing behavior. Super interesting. And by doing that, I changed my complete life from being destructive, assaulting myself in all different way to where I am today. Yeah. And that's reprogrammed, like that's from brain, that's from like having the discipline of going to gym every single day, doing my morning meditation, doing my stretching, my yoga. Like that's all discipline is being built up for years. And at the same time, gradually implementing good food, exercising. And then I am the man I'm today. Like another thing is like people will think I'm happy, like I would just wake up happy and energized. No, this is also a programmed behavior. Like I've taught myself to be energized, to be happy. I know exactly, like I know how to elevate my energy in the right way, which has become that I program my brain in a good way. So it's very interesting. But I talk so much and you talk so much, and I love this. I love community.
But you have come so far in your own journey that you are now teaching others to do that as well. And I think that's very honorable, and I totally respect that. And I'm really grateful for what you do. So thank you.
I'm grateful for what you I'm
Yeah.
getting what you
And
do.
before we round up, I know there is like this one thing that I wanted to ask you about ketosis, because I think many people have this idea that you might need to like eat animal products to get into the state of ketosis, but no, that's optional.
No.
Yeah.
No, so I was vegan for many years, and I was doing intermittent fasting, doing ketogenic, LCHF kind of diet, full vegan. So it's very optimal. And there's actually plant-based, like a lot of good plant-based fats, like coconut oil, avocado is fucking super fat, olive oil, avocado oil, macadamia oil, nuts, seeds. We get omega-7, omega-9. You can also get omega-3 through ALA, which is the substance which get converted to EPA and DHA, which comes from vegetarian standpoint. They're like linseeds. So like to get fat from a plant, it's actually almost easier to get from the plant-based diet. If you're vegetarian, you can still have cheese and eggs for some people. And the thing is actually where a lot of people that go keto, now I'm talking from the perspective of the keto diet. The people who eat meat, they tend to like meat has a lot of protein. And the thing is that you want a balance between 3 from 3 fat to 1 protein. By eating animal products, it's the other way around. It's too much protein to be able to balance out the fat. So it's actually, to be honest, optimal to be a vegan / vegetarian ketogenic dieter, if you put it like that. So that's actually optimal. But when we talk about the exogenous ketones, the good thing is that you don't have to eat fat rich. We always promote it to eat a balanced, healthy diet. Of course, always healthy diet, whatever the diet is, or food pattern like to use. But with exogenous ketones, you don't have to limit your carbohydrates. That's so beautiful of it. So you can still eat the whole food, plant-based diet, drink the exogenous ketones. And the best thing of it all, they are fermented, and fermentation creates B12, which is another myth. It's another myth we can talk about. People say you can't get B12 from vegan or vegetarian. Completely
That's
bullshit.
also not true. Not true at all. Yeah. Wow. So that's really amazing. I'm super grateful for this time with you. But I know that you live a wonderful life, and you have other things to do as well. So I
got some more work to do.
This time with you right now, and I was like super excited about it. But I think maybe we want to round this up a little bit, so we can continue in different ways.
Perfect. And if you,
just really want to thank you so much. And what you're doing is really great and inspiring. Just keep on shining your beautiful light.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Claudia as well, if you ever want me to come on another live, because like I've been vegan or vegetarian for many years, and I would love to come over on another live and talk more about the vegan and vegetarian, the ways of optimizing that diet and how you can take up the best, because a lot of people are eating vegan and vegetarian, and there's a lot of things in that diet that can be dangerous for you as well. Because a lot of people are associating to be vegan and vegetarian, you're healthy. Yes, that's what I believe. Like that's for me is what I believe. But there's also a lot of people that are just doing it for the animals, and they're having a quite bad diet, and they're eating French fries from Macca's, and it's like, you don't eat the burger, so like you don't eat the bad meat, but you still eat the French fries, and you're still supporting an industry. So like it doesn't make sense. So I love to educate vegans and vegetarians to find the perfect balanced diet for them, because it's a really
so they can keep on doing that as well, and don't have to like change their diet because they didn't do it properly from the beginning.
Exactly.
Would love that. Let's have another one on that next time.
Perfect. And next time I will do a live. When I do a live about vegetarians in the association with keto, I will do a short one on my post or like my wall, and I will share it to you.
Lovely. All right. I wish you the best of evenings. Oh,
you as well. Wait, I disappeared now. Wait.
You disappeared a little bit.
So thank you so much, beautiful. It was an absolute pleasure as always.
Yes. Take care. See you
next time. See you soon. Thanks everyone watching. Ciao.